Shalom pimps, hustlers, entrepreneurs, landlords, fellow healthcare workers. It's your boy Khoi. I just finished my shift. What a weird shift, like I started off in one department and then halfway through handover, like when the previous shift was telling me information about the patients and stuff like that because they're finishing their shifts. The manager of the units went up to me and said, Bob, you've been redeployed because of some, shortage. What do you call it? Yeah, short staff in some other units, and so you got to swap people around. So you got to go next door. I'm not going to mention where I work because I've learned my lesson. Anyways, it was a weird shift. It wasn't too bad. Can't lie. I really enjoyed it. It was a really good, quiet shift. Now, we don't say the Q word in healthcare because you could jinx it. You might say the Q word and then suddenly, the emergency department is going to be overloaded, and then, the hospital is going to be full of patients, and it's going to be chaos. So never say the Q word. But I had a really nice shift, surprisingly. And so I got a chance to talk to my colleagues, what I love doing. And, we had a lot of boys tonight. So it's always a chill shift when there are more men on the ward. And I'm not trying to be sexist or anything. Yes, I am being sexist. Yes, this is a gross overgeneralization, but generally, when the unit is staffed with boys on a shift, it's very chill. It's very controlled for some reason. That's my experience so far. When boys are on, it seems like everybody gets along with each other. There's none of this petty. I'm not saying it's petty. But like sometimes when you got these weird personalities, usually they are older women who has been in the profession for years, and they're stuck in their own ways. And sorry, I'm realizing that I'm sounding very judgmental right now, and I shouldn't do that. It's not me. But generally, from my experience thus far, whenever boys are on, it's a clean shift. No one died. Things goes as according to plan. Everything goes smoothly. When the boys are on. There's this meme on the internet about the intensive care units, ICU. When the boys are on, it's called Guy CU or DICU. Anyways, what was I talking about? I got a chance to talk to my colleagues, and it was a really chill shift. And I was looking up on the uni website because, as you know, I'm enrolling to study to become a physiotherapist. And I'm not so sure if I want to do that after today, after the conversation that I have with my colleagues. So I was looking up on the school website, and then my colleague came and sat next to me, and he was like, by the way, he has years in this profession. He's a veteran, so he knows what he's talking about. He's been, around different units. He worked in the ambulance as well in the UK, and then he went to Ireland, and then he started again, and then he did his master's in acute care or whatever, and then now he's doing his post-grad studying on mental health. I'm surrounded by people who are high achievers, so it's inevitable that I'm gonna be hearing this sort of talks from them. People will be telling me, oh, Khoi, Oh, Bob, so what are you doing? Are you studying? Are you looking to advance your career? Are you doing your post-grad? Upgrade your salary, do this, apply for this, you make more money that way. Work more, work for agency, be a travel nurse, be whatever. Like, you hear people telling me this all the time. When you're surrounded by high achievers, it's inevitable that they will also want you to be on their level. And that is a good thing. I'm not complaining. Don't get this twisted, okay? I'm not complaining. I'm just stating an observation. When you are a run-of-the-mill worker and you're surrounded by these high achievers, it can be a good thing because they challenge you. They makes you want to push for greater heights and apply yourself and do more training. Now, this is the thing. More training doesn't always mean you're a better worker. Because, like, what do the better workers get? They get punished with more work. I mean, this is not always the case, but the more efficient you are at doing something, the better you are doing something, the more workload you're gonna get. And by the way, I'm not saying that I'm a lazy person and I don't want work, because I do want to help more people. I do want to be of service to others. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that the better workers get more work with the same pay, and that is not good. And you do see this a lot in multiple industries. Even the more qualified people, like they get a tiny bit higher pay, but then they get more responsibilities. And that's the kind of trap I don't want to get myself into. However, when I told my colleagues that I wanted to study Masters of Physiotherapy, they were like, they were sort of scoffing at me almost. They're like, what if you do it and then in a couple years you realize that it's not what you want to do? Then you don't have anything to fall back on. Whereas if you choose to specialize in something and then down the track you'll realize you don't want to do it, then you can change your specialty. And I do hear them. Yes, there are pros and cons to every choice that I'm going to make in regards to my career. But there's one thing that my colleague said to me that made me think. He said, at your age, if I was your age again, like in your mid-20s, early 30s, I would choose to study to become a doctor. If I have the money and I have your youth. He straight up told me that. The colleague that I said, who's been around the block, who's a veteran by now. And I told him, then why don't you do it? He said, I'm too old for it now. I have a family now. And you're single, you're not married. You have all this time, you have all this energy, you have your youth. You can work as well while you're studying in med school. Like you can do the graveyard shifts as a nurse. Work in agency, whatever, make money on the weekends and on your days off. And then go to school for 5 years and you can become a general practitioner, like working in the clinics, the what do you call it, the GP office. If you don't want to specialize, if you don't want to spend your entire life, becoming a surgeon or specialize in a field of medicine like cardiology or whatever, you can become a GP. You can be a generalist. And that's, I feel, I don't know why, but I seem to be attracted to that idea, like becoming a doctor. Not because of the pay, but because I get to help potentially more people. So yeah, honestly, after that talk with my colleague, I'm having a massive existential crisis right now. Like, I'm not even kidding. I'm rethinking about enrolling myself in uni for 3 years for my master's, of physiotherapy, and just take a leap of faith and try to pass the exam and go to med school for 5 years and become a hospital runt, you know, like the resident medical officer, just running around the hospital doing these jobs for the nurses, you know, like charting medicines and running errands for the top dog consultants, the top dog doctors, you know. Being the little doctors that running around the hospital for a few years, and then or becoming a GP. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to do. I've already enrolled myself into uni, but I can always withdraw without any penalty. You know, like I haven't paid money to study yet. But yeah, I did ask my colleagues, do you seriously see me being a doctor? You know, like, hello, Mr. Brown, my name is Dr. Khoi. You know, I'll be your physician today, you know, like, excuse me, sir, you have cancer. I don't see myself becoming a doctor. I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. And I said that to my colleague, and he said, it's got to come from within. You cannot ask people what they think of you, what they think you would be good as. You cannot ask other people for validation. You cannot ask people whether they think you can become a doctor or not, whether you can be a good doctor or not. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to make that choice yourself. So I don't know where I'm going with this video. I don't know if I'm asking for opinions from people. I just want to get the thoughts out, you know. Originally, I was going to ask all of my colleagues whether they think I should go into med school. But then I thought, what for? If I want to do it, I'm going to do it. I don't have a girlfriend, and I don't see myself getting a girlfriend or a wife in the next 5 years. I don't see myself settling down anywhere in the next 5 years. And I know it's embarrassing at my age. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Do I want to become a doctor? Do I want to work night shifts? Running around a hospital at night, doing all of these weird jobs? Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Anyway, so if you're still watching, thank you. Stay strong. God bless. I love you all. And I know that if I do become a doctor, these videos are going to be removed. Or I will not use my title in my video. I will not mention that I'm a doctor in my videos, because I got to stay professional. And, you know, it's like a step up. When you're registered, it does say something about your character. You cannot be a dodgy person and be registered as a healthcare professional. You know, like, you cannot trash your property and then sell it if you're registered. You know, you cannot park your car illegally like what I've been doing sometimes. You know, it's the next step up. And you got to be careful with using the title in public. And you got to be careful with telling people what you do as a job. I know I will be tiptoeing on eggshells. And I don't know if I want to take that next step. I don't know, man. Like, it's a lot of responsibility. I don't know if I can take that. But anyways, that's the topic for another video. I'm gonna go home. Bye.